Welcome to the Pennsylvania Railroad. We are currently waiting on a signal at Bridge 2525 just west of Crescent. My name is Dale. Hi, Dale. And I will be your mentor. Oh, great. I got a mentor for a while as your new railroad. God, I can't speak. I can't get it out of my mouth. This engine is this engine we are in is a Class ERS 15 number 8576. Probably, damn it. Oh well. I'm happy to help you. Yeah, well, yeah, I'm not gonna read it that fast, am I? Washington County. Yeah, I'm not gonna try. You know, my reading skills are bad. I reckon the first area you might be unstuck is signaling. Oh boy. Looks like I got a yellow. Just don't laugh too hard, Cheese. My reading skills, you know how horrible they are. They're gonna get better. 3 lights, yeah, left, yellow, blah blah. 3 horizontal, main signal ahead. No other lights means you must stop at the signal. You cannot proceed until the inspect. Yeah. Release some brakes. I think when I get a little bit less nervous of doing this, I'll be okay. Maybe. I kind of go with it, and it's kind of one of those things where it's like, when you're partially dyslexic like me, it gets interesting, especially when you're trying to do machine stuff. When the 3 lights on the main signal ahead are aligned vertically, it is showing the clear to expect ahead. This means you are clear to proceed to the next signal block. The signal ahead shows clear, so the controls are yours. Drive on, and I will point out the key places of interest as we go. Okay, I guess we're going to learn about the horseshoe curve, and it's going to be pointed out regardless of whether or not we want to or not. Cheese, I think you could do great. Probably laugh at me at the same time.
Hey, if it's any better than your backing skills with the trucks, might as well.
Yeah, exactly. Eric says, I heard about the shooting there in California. The FBI is now ruling it out as a possible terrorist attack. So they're saying it is not a terrorist attack. Interesting. I think they always say that. It could be that it was just, a homegrown thing, but, who knows? One of the things that I think we tend to do when it comes to certain things is we'd like to present facts, and sometimes those facts always don't match up. I don't know what the deal is, but sometimes I think we're trying to protect ourselves and our happiness. It is a sad day, that is for sure, and it was actually quite shocking to me, even though I didn't find out about it until somewhere around 6 or 7 o'clock my time in the evening. Generally, I don't watch TV, and I don't have the news feeds going all the time. So I'm supposed to be able to cook here around 60. So now, ISIS gave a message about it. What, they said, no? This isn't us? Or it is us? Hold on, let me read this real quick. We are approaching Crescent and still on the climb gradients. At Crescent is a passenger station, a small yard, Crescent engine terminal. The roundhouse at the engine terminal here was recently raised, and we have a brand new facility in place. Oh, you didn't read it? Well, I know ISIS has a tendency of, and it's been said that ISIS will claim a terrorist attack regardless of whether or not it was actually a terrorist attack organized by them just to provoke the fear in the individuals or area that this attack happened. So, they're kind of like some of the others like PLO. If they didn't do it, they may, try to steal the credit for it, or like, Al-Qaeda and so forth. So it really depends. Although it was just kind of awkward how, these two went home and, got in the battle armor all of a sudden to decide that they were going to do this suicidal ideal of an attack. Did you say it was not a terrorist attack? And South, if you care to comment, I don't know. Do you know anything about it?
I'm pretty sure they were saying it was, because before there were messages before the attack, there were messages to ISIS or something from the couple stating they want to give themselves to the terrorist cell, but there was no reply or something like that. So they vowed their allegiance to ISIS before attacking.
Gotcha. No. I am reading it now. ISIS said some nasty things in the message. Yeah, they always do. So there's two of these on the back. And it's kind of strange. I mean, they got this set up pretty much like the VNSF stuff. Because back in the day, they used to only run the 4 engines on the front. They wouldn't do that much helpers on the rear because it's not so much of a bad climb here. There's a train in the passenger station. Let's go back to the rear. See the lovely F units of the Pennsylvania Railroad on the passenger service. But I know that they do a lot of claiming stuff and it just ends up being that. But if it is what it is, and it did happen and they are saying it is, then, well, it is. It is a really sad thing. It really does hit the families, and it really does suck, and especially with those who have to go back to work in that same building. In the face of terrorism, too, at the same time, one of the things I've always been pretty solid about is to do the best to try to get past it and heal from it as quickly as possible, because we don't want them to see that we give them an edge in that ability to do anything. Okay, Eric is saying, okay, Miss said about the FBI ruling it out as a terrorist attack, they are treating it as an act of terrorism. Okay, gotcha. Alright, new card popped up. We have just passed through MO interlocking, which is controlled by MO Tower. The MO is an abbreviation for mountain. Crescent is behind us now, and the 4 main tracks are going to split as we near the tunnels. We are on track 1. Track 4 is the outmost track on our left. Generally speaking, eastbound traffic uses track 1 and 2. Westbound uses 3 and 4. However, there are exceptions. There are always exceptions.
Now, I got a question about the game. Is it possible for you to collide with the trains?
Yes, and okay. Whew. I wonder if my computer's starting to overheat. Yes, you can collide with other trains somewhat. Let me respond to Eric real quick. Eric is saying lots of shooting in this country all of a sudden. It's not really all of a sudden. If you go back to some of the reports, you'll find out that there were actually more mass shootings under Clinton's presidency than there were under the previous presidents, including Obama's. But going back to your answer, South, generally it's not possible for you to collide with another train. However, sometimes there's bugs in some of the maps where you can collide. I actually have a picture series showing me pulling out from a quick travel, and there happens to be a freight train in the same lane as me, because it's a glitch with the map, and I hit head on with it. And then also if you happen to flip the wrong switch, if you're doing it manually, you can actually run into another train. But most of the time, it's avoided because the scenarios just don't allow for it. Unless you accidentally pass through a switch. And Eric's saying, I know who I'm voting for. Well, you know, honestly, I have an idea who I'm voting for, but I'm not quite sure yet. Kind of keeping that under covers. Sometimes politics and railroad just don't go together. If you know what I mean.
Well, at least you two still have faith in the political system, unlike myself.
What?
I don't vote anymore. Don't want to vote.
And Eric's saying, I'm voting for Donald Trump. And, I mean, I think all the candidates have their pluses and minuses, that's for sure. Political, answer your question, South Dakota. I say that the political system still works to a degree. It's just not a degree in which we expect it to work, because a lot of us just don't get engaged in the political system. So therefore, we lose that faith because, in my opinion, this is my opinion only, is if you're not engaged in what you're going for, then the outcome generally tends not to come to be what you're looking for. If you know what I mean? If that makes sense. But then everybody's opinion has their own place. And a new card came up. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Sal.
I was just agreeing with you.
Oop, need to slow down. I don't know. I don't need to slow down. Usually those switches, we're going much slower over. Eric says, I feel the same way. There is no right or wrong candidate. Well, sometimes I believe there's some wrong. Yeah, and, you know, frankly, I'm not going to read these cards anymore because I'm getting so tongue-tied. Blah, 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 blah.
The one guy that I was willing to throw myself behind was Ron Paul. Not Rand Paul, not Paul.
I thought they all run.
I could care less about his son. His son has different political ideals than his father.
Gotcha. Where's my button? No. Oh well. Okay, need to slow it down.
I wonder how this would be going if I was drunk off my ass.
I have a kick button. Not only did I get promoted in the clan or community or guild or whatever you want to call it, but I do have more powers now.
You don't have more than me, though.
Oh, that's true. Damn it. Oh, can I kick you from my own channel? I don't even know if I can. Probably not. But I do have the power to kick you on Twitch. And mute you. Yeah, there we go. I can mute you. You know me. I don't generally do that to anybody. I mean, how often have I ever actually gotten even a tad bit upset?
Oh, you seem pretty chill, just like I am.
Yeah, for the most part. Now, earlier this week I was doing a video which involved those other two tunnels over there on that side, so that was when I was doing the RS 11 videos from a Horseshoe curve, which I posted up on my YouTube channel. By the way, all the links down below the streaming platform actually do work and go directly to go deal directly with to my YouTube page and all that stuff. Eric says, have you dealt with a troll? You know what? I have not dealt with a troll here. But when it comes to other trolls, oh, they're easy to deal with. I can usually piss them off without being shall we say, mean. It's like one of those things where it's like if they're really, really trying to troll, there's always the kick button. But most of the time, it's like, you know, you stand up to it, you stand up next to a troll and you go, "Hi, hello, how are you doing? Sure, not a problem. Go ahead and do that." And it kind of defeats or blows out the whole trolliness that they try to accomplish. It really, I don't get pissed. And if I do get pissed, you don't want me pissed. So, you know,
I've always enjoyed the ban button.
yeah, and that's why I wrote down below, there's always a chance for permaban. There are so many different types of trolls out there, it's not even funny. The interlocking we just passed through is called Benny interlocking and is controlled by AR Tower. The 4 tracks are now back together and stay this way all the way in Altoona. The curves are plenty tight, so speeds are here around 30 to 35. That's it? Okay.
So may I ask why the simulator has pup trailers on your flatbeds?
The trucker said no problem. The pup trailers were the original trailers back then. That's all they had for this is a GP7 was back in the 50s. So the type of style, if you take a really good close look at them, you'll see that they're the style from that period when trailers were just, you know, starting to get of somewhat modernization.
Like nose stands on them.
They got what?
Nose stands.
You kind of.
No, we still had a few of those around. The problem is the landing gear, the gear that keeps it standing up and all that, without a truck underneath it. It's on those pup trailers, they're moved further back. So if the nose stand wasn't down, and you go in there with a load, you're in for a wild ride.
Yeah, I remember watching videos on that. And yeah, these probably used to have that. They didn't have forklifts back when they had forklifts, but they didn't have much of them. And Eric, do you need any moderate help? I don't at the moment. I actually got 6 or 7 moderators of all things, believe it or not. I do appreciate asking, though. Eventually I'll need more help as more people come along. I'll definitely keep you in mind. The way I look at dealing with moderators as the channel grows is first comes, first serves. People I know, people I'm chatting with all the time, and we got 2 for 1. People I kind of get the feel of who they are when I first see them. So I kind of work on a seniority basis, so you'll be kept in mind for sure. Plainly goes back to the whole point of, do I know you? Do I notice you? And I'm already noticing you, so, and you're asking. So that'll be the case. I mean, the unfortunate thing is I haven't grown big enough to have a lot of moderators, and there goes my phone for some reason. We're getting a lot of junk text from YouTube. Okay. So it looks like I'm all by myself talking to everybody now. Oh, let's see. New car.
Just for a few minutes.
Oh, no problem. Okay, a lot of these curves we are rounding here are own names. We just passed whatever that name is. Horseshoe, known almost 100 years since the construction of the Horseshoe curve. I hear the railroad is planning some big event. Okay, whatever. Let me add some brake. Oh, no brake. Okay, let's see here. Eric is saying, oh, okay. I know some streamers don't want you to ask to become one. Oh. No, it's no big deal. Yeah, I do remember people. At least I do my best to. Like Cheese is saying, there are times. I mean, the times that I don't place them right away, and then it's like, okay, or if people don't talk and so forth. So it's like, generally, it's like, what's the memorable moment that goes with it? I try to. I really do. Eventually, at some point, I mean, I could see there being a problem with remembering everybody's name. But I do my best. And the worst part about it is I'll destroy names. So, like, if I see something in it that, like, I can actually say, it's like, oh, hey, that's Eric. Cool. How you doing, Eric? And I noticed the YOST1. Or in Cheese was his chance, or Cheese was his name. It's like, yeah, how can I forget that? Oh, speeding. Speeding. I'm always speeding. It looks like we're coming up here on the Horseshoe Curve. Now, the funny thing is you guys will laugh, but the first words out of my mouth were actually choo-choo instead of mommy and daddy. My dad and my grandfather were big rail fans. And it was actually kind of funny because they used to go rail fanning around the Horseshoe Curve and around Allentown and Bethlehem area and the Lehigh Valley yards over there. Lehigh Valley Railroad has got a little special place in my heart, just not only for the namesake, but also for the fact that I love their paint schemes. And Eric is saying, what part of CA do you live? I actually live in the LA greater area, or greater Mass area. I'm in an area near Long Beach, San Pedro. Good luck finding me, though. Because I tend to have nice, obscure little apartments, that kind of thing. But I live in a nice area. I've been very fortunate since I've been out here. Although the smog in the area is kind of smoggy. Let's see, the MG interlocking, and on the left is the MG tower. The MG here stands for middle grade, which sounds pretty literal to me. The tower, which was built in 1944, has an unusual brick design for the PRR and is quite distinctive. We are just a mile and a half from Horseshoe Curve itself now. I wonder if we'll need another train on the curve. It would be awesome to see a 3-lane train like I've seen before on the curve. Why is the crime rate? It's LA. And if it's not the crime rate, it's the idiotic people. Not everybody, but when you're dealing with lots of individuals, you get lots more unique, shall we say, colorful people that really can make your day unhappy. But, my experiences thus far, the crime hasn't been too bad since I've been here. I mean, they've had high crime rates, but I mean, ever since the riots happened, from what I remember back in the day, it just seems pretty. Most of the areas are cleaned up. I mean, you've always going to have your trouble spots. So, and the area that I'm in is kind of a mixed. You kind of got the borderline between some high crimes and so forth, and some low crimes. Eric is saying, do you like CA? Do you plan on staying there? You, not I. I do like California. I like Northern California. Now, I was born and grew up until I was 12 in Pennsylvania, and then I went to Seattle, and I grew up from Seattle from 12 until I was 30. I've only been in California for like 7 years, I think. Okay, hold on. We are coming into the curve now. It is open and turn on some brakes. 1854, and was indeed still is a huge engineering feat. This line over the Allegheny Mountains made the connection between Philadelphia and Pittsburgh possible. The curve engineering achievement of J. Edgar Thomas, bleh, and chief engineer of the Pennsylvania Railroad at the time, was constructed over a 3-year period, mostly by Irish immigrants. I'm trying not to apply too many brakes while I'm trying to read and answer questions. Yeah, Northern California was awesome, and I agree with you, Cheese Whiz. I mean, every time I go through there, and I'll be going through there in a couple of weeks, because I got to head up to Seattle. I'm going to be probably driving up again. It'll be like my 7th time doing it. Is awesome. Middle California, not so much. I can't stand the San Fernando. It's not San Fernando Valley. It's wherever San Jose is and all that stuff. Sacramento. It just feels like blah to me. It's just yuck. You know, it's forever the same thing. Orchards, farmland, all that kind of stuff. Now, I do like farmland. Family comes from a farmland type background, but for some reason that central area just Okay, reading the card again. There are often many people observing trains passing through central viewing area on our right. Even since its creation, people have been drawn to its spectacle, and it fast became a focal point of the PRR. You can see the smallest of Altoona reservoirs at the bottom of the curve. These reservoirs keep the city of Altoona in fresh water. Yeah, I just should stop reading. Southern California, totally different ball of wax. But I'm going to skip over most of Southern California and say that San Diego and that area of California is awesome. Although, again, it's got their own problems, as many do. Let me get some speed reduction. And I like the San Diego area quite a bit. However, I need snow. This is me. The LA area and surrounding area, I'm not so happy about with, and I've been very vocal about that. And Fifth Rain is just popping in to say grats on the breaking the double digits. Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Fifth. But the LA area in its general form, okay, I got too much break. The LA area on its most form, yeah. Apartments and houses in LA is insanely expensive. It depends. Same problem. It depends on where you live. It depends on who's doing it. Properly saying mine's around 1,100 to 1,200, but we're getting a decent break. Other places is around anywhere from 1,500 to 1,600 for a 2-bedroom apartment. It's about the same price as Seattle was when I left it. Fifth Rain, and also a small time update. I can't stick around for long, but can join in Guns of Icarus after 8:30ish, 9ish. You know, I haven't seen anybody popping in yet, Fifth, for Guns of Icarus, or even saying what's going on. So I'll probably be looking around 8:15, 8:30 to see what's actually happening with guns. But, you know, it really depends on where you live here, and depends on how well you want to live. So jobs here are getting scarce, at least for the high-end wages. There's a lot of low-end wage jobs. So a lot of people are living here as, roommates and so forth, so that they can afford their rent and so on. A lot of people still live at home with their friends and family. Yeah, I guess that's what we call it, friends and family. So it's really dependent, but if you want a garage or if you want a house or anything, houses are extremely expensive to rent. And but it still follows around, you know, where you want to live, but it can, you know, get up there. That's why I don't rent a house at the moment. I live in an apartment. Okay, you gotta apply some
Like
more
in
brake.
Southern Redlands, in the middle of the ghetto, that's $900 for a no-bedroom apartment.
What was that? Something I got part of it.
In Southern Redlands, that area, oh, in the middle of the ghetto, it's $900 a month for an apartment with no bedrooms. It's a studio.
Ooh. Well, that's
just because it's in the parts of LA.
Yeah, that's true. And Eric goes, what major thing would you like to see change in California or LA? You know, that's a hard one. Because there are a lot of things that I would love to see change. Let's see. Probably for me to say to stay here, it would need to snow in LA, but that's never going to change. If anything, the aspect of having businesses start to understand and really relate to their employees a little bit better. I think they do try to, but the problem is a lot of them take advantage of the lower class workers or the immigrants that are coming across trying to find jobs and so forth. I think that when you look at that aspect, I mean, that could be a huge change for the area, which not only could help, not only on the employment side, but the kindness factor, if you know what I mean. It would improve people around everything. The other thing I'd like to see changed would be, I mean, social services here are really well done, and I can't argue with that. But the problem with it is it drives other costs up through the roof. So a better cost of living, I think. Electrical costs here are through the roof. I mean, like month to month, it costs me about $150 just to run our apartment, and that's just for cooling, heating, and a couple computers. And I literally put everything behind a switch, and I literally put everything turned off, even gadgets that normally have any power sources. So if you could lower electrical rates and lower the household bills, I think that other individuals would have a better life here as well. And I just saying that from that kind of point. The other thing is I think the LA area, in not so much in general, but a lot of it to me seems like there are a lot of people that try to take advantage of everybody else. And however, as much as I'd love to see my brakes turn off, which they won't turn off. There we go. Hitting the wrong button. As much as I'd like to see people not take advantage so much of everybody else and be more about group orientation, I think that'd be better. But if it were to be anything else in the realm, traffic would be another big, huge thing. But because they need, I mean, as much as LA has a good infrastructure for transit, I think it could be a hell of a lot better. And hiya, Ninja Pac-Man, how you doing? And it's going great. Got a wonderful crowd going here, and they're putting up with my bullcrap. I even got South Dakota sitting here talking to me.
Yeah, we could talk less to California, though.
Yeah. But I can also tell you this one other thing about California. It is not business friendly anymore as what it used to be. And frankly, if I could have possibly gotten away with it, I would have started trying to do my business stuff out of this state. And it is, you know, the state is literally pushing away small business and big business at this point. But then again, that hails back to the businessman taking advantage of their situation and what they can get away with, and then leaving behind junk. Ninja goes, I'm fine. I'll be able to join you for Guns of Icarus later. Excellent. Yeah, fifth range just came in and told me the timelines change. When you guys didn't think of tell fifth, but I don't know if you guys are still here, but potentially I don't know what's going on. Nobody has said anything, and I'd hate to drop off this stream for a long period of time. So we need to kind of figure out what's going on. I might throw South Dakota out of the channel and have him go figure it out. But if you could potentially figure out what's going on and see if Yamato and them are going to join. I've only actually logged into it for 5 minutes today, but at least I got it set up so we could stream. But one of the big awesome things about California, and I'll never stop saying this, is that I probably need to turn off my power. Is that the people and the cultural diversity here is phenomenal outside of everybody that uses, abuses, and all that kind of stuff. I mean, it's just a larger amount of people with a larger amount of those type of individuals, but there are such a huge community of wonderful people too. And the cultural diversity I talk about, I mean, I would have never have eaten Ethiopian food anywhere else, and I ate it here. And Ninja Pac-Man goes, I won't be on TeamSpeak until I get on Guns of Icarus, so I can't check. No problem. I understand.
Oh yeah, you got Chinatown, you got Koreans down there.
Oh yeah. And
there's a lot of nice places, but the problem is cost of living's so high because of all the taxes out there.
It's not so much the taxes, really. It has to do more with, again, it goes back to the individual need for greed. I mean,
like, for example, like a 2,000 square foot house with 2.5 acres of land up there probably costs upwards of $500,000.
Yeah, but it's all based on demand value too.
You get one out here where I'm at in Kentucky, you're looking at maybe 98,000 to 100,000.
Again, very true, but then you have less demand.
Well, there's a lot of demand for it because they don't come up very often.
No, I agree.
Those are fixer-uppers, but mind you.
Well, no, and I agree with that. It's just that I think there's more demand here for populace because everybody wants a house. They don't want to be.
And there's more people willing to pay that amount.
Right. Now
out here, we don't take that. No.
Right, and
you want $500,000, you're building me a mansion.
Exactly. And I get that too, though, and that's why I say that there's a fine line sometimes between, and sometimes it's a fine line, sometimes it's a very blatant line. It's like sometimes the people are just overpricing things and gouging people, and then there's the people that are trying to do what's right. So, and
there was something in the news about Northern Californians going into Oregon, raising Oregon's housing prices. Something like that.
No, that's kind of old news, but yeah, that would be about right too. Oops. Okay, I gotta cut the speed a little bit here. Hey, Kersey, how you doing? And Kersey's saying, hey, Exeter, I would have been on earlier, but I went out to the bowl. Now, hey, no problem, I don't know if you noticed or anything, but I listed up on top just to, again, remind everybody, hey, we're coming up on 8 o'clock here, and the first 2 hours was going to be trains, and then after that it was going to be looking at Guns of Icarus with a small break. But since I really don't see anybody jumping to the Guns of Icarus thing, it may go a little bit longer here, and I may once again volunteer South Dakota to go take a look and see what's going on with that. No, but you're absolutely right, South. I mean, it's all demand and pound certain things. Oh, jeez, where am I stopping? The shingles were showing a restricted aspect ahead. The diagonal 3 lights on the lower means restricted means 15 mile per hour speed. Oh, okay.
I kind of feel like we're doing a talk show instead of a stream.
Sometimes trains can be that way. But, that's the relaxing thing about trains, flipping.
I feel like I'm smoking a joint already.
Oh, don't do it. Don't do it. I don't condone drugs in this channel. In the channel. Aha.
It was almost legal in Ohio.
Yeah, Washington and Colorado have got it. In fact, I got friends that are actually doing stuff like that. Oh, slow down, slow down.
The problem with Ohio's levy they were going to do is it would give exclusive growing rights to 3 different people. And that's why it didn't pass. They would have a monopoly on marijuana, essentially, in the state.
Interesting.
Now, I've heard something about in Ohio there might be one similar to Colorado and Washington coming up for a vote. I don't know when that would be.
Huh. I have no idea. I don't usually keep track of politics as much. And that to me is politics.
I don't pay too much attention to it either, but when it comes to marijuana and stuff like that, stuff that I feel is marijuana is no different than cigarettes to me.
Yeah, well, see, I stopped smoking years ago, and pretty much since the surgery, I stopped drinking. So,
I'm 2 months into Chantix here, buddy. I know what you're feeling.
Kersey goes, I don't really know what to say about the marijuana bill in Ohio. I live here, so I don't really care. Okay, and up here on the left is the Altoona passenger station. Work for the PRR long enough, and you might get a fast running passenger service. Yeah, you don't want to do that. There are several mainline yards in Altoona. On the right side are the 12th Street car shops. Oh, really? It's a car shop? Oh, I didn't know that. On the right, much of that had to be rebuilt after the fire in 1931. On the left, after the station, is the Altoona Freight Station. Yeah, well, okay. Altoona's pretty awesome. Okay, let's see. Eric, where do you want to move to if you move out of California? Flagstaff, Arizona. Straight up. That would be the place I'd want to move to. To me, it gives me my all-around weather, perfect weather. You know, snow, cold, heat, rain, thunderstorms. I miss everything. I miss everything about the East Coast except for the heat, the extreme heat and humidity. I miss the rain, but I don't want it to rain all the time. I've gotten used to the sun living on the west side, and but it's got snow. Okay, we are soon entering.
You more than make up for the humidity with the extreme heat.
Yeah, well, I lived in Phoenix for a while too, and I dreaded Phoenix, and I wanted the heck out of there so fast.
Ever have your shoes melt to the sidewalk?
No, I never had that problem. I mean, even when at 125, the shoes didn't melt.
I've been standing for a bus, and my shoes started to get a little soft.
Ooh, yeah, that can suck. But also,
Vegas.
Oh, go ahead.
I said in the middle of Vegas.
Oh, jeez. No, when it comes to Flagstaff, I mean, it just kind of gives me that all nice around mix. What are the drought conditions like there in California? Is it getting better? No, it is not getting better. In fact, it is getting worse at the moment. Yes, the rain's coming in, the snow's coming in at the moment, but there's still not enough snow. Something to talk about there, which is kind of an odd thing. Probably about 4 years ago was my last major trip up to Seattle. Now, there's a reservoir up north called Lake Shasta. And when I went past there 4 years ago, before the drought was being mentioned in LA, the lake was down like a good quarter, and you could tell it was down, maybe 50 feet from where the surface of the reservoir was. 2 years later, I went by again, and it was half empty. It was literally over 200 feet down from the top surface, and you could tell where the mud lines were. And I was telling people then it was just bad. And then finally, about maybe a year ago, they finally started talking about the drought here in LA being a serious problem because nobody paid attention to it. Now, the news agencies didn't, and nobody else. But the drought conditions are just severe. Now, it's only California, mind you, but Lake Mead is also down real low as well. And, as probably been hearing some of the reports out there, there's the old city foundations, old railroad tunnels showing up from all these different places, and it's just awesome to see, but it's horrible. Kersey says, I went to Puerto Rico this summer, and the drought was not as bad, and it's gotten a lot better. Probably in Puerto Rico, I would agree. So, I mean, there's been some improvements.
I was going to say, I wouldn't say that Nevada isn't in drought conditions. They've been in drought conditions for the past 15 years.
Uh-oh. I just found a switch that's bad. Oh, whew.
Did you get it flipped in time?
Yeah, I got flipped in time, I think. Except I may be going to the wrong place.
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. I'm going to the right place. It was like, wasn't flipped, and it was like, ooh, that could be a problem. Sometimes on these scenarios, the switches don't get flipped right away, and so you have to really go look at them. That was a good thing I went and looked. Okay, Cheese Whiz says, my family is in CA, and they say the drought is really bad. There is water restrictions where they live. We have water restrictions where we live too, but it's like nobody takes it seriously, especially in the LA area. I mean, they've always paid for the water, so it's like, what do they care? Even though like Malibu and all that stuff is on 35% restrictions and all that stuff, if you know what I mean. But it's, a lot of the people I don't think a lot of people actually look and see what's going on unless they see it with their own eyes. It's like most of the reservoirs around me are empty. And they don't see it because, well, a couple of the things was with the city and everybody else was to make the city look pretty, to prevent terrorist attack on water supplies, was to plant bushes and hide the reservoirs so you couldn't see into them, or so it was easier to protect. So now people don't see that the reservoirs are empty and they think there's still water in them. Or after a rainfall, they're not, I want to say not dumb, but they're dumb people out there. I mean, they just don't know, and it's just because they haven't been told or shown or anything else, and they don't see how drastic the problem is. Although the funny,
I would call it ignorant.
Yeah, ignorance. I'd go with that. The other problem is the press doesn't really show it, or when they do show it, it's not impressive enough to people. They have to really see it. Cheese Whiz goes, if they get caught, it's really bad fines. Kersey goes, the grass is like all dead, right? No, that's the thing. People are not letting them die. They're just still letting the grass get watered, and they're still going out there and like flooding things. Eric goes, I think there is a water restriction on the whole state. Yes, there is, because most of the water from California either comes from a little bit from Lake Mead, but most of the northern California. Kersey goes, and there's a lot of dirt now. Yep, there is a lot of dirt. A heck of a lot of dirt, but people don't see that, so they don't know it. Like most of like Shasta is the primary water, or the Delta up by Sacramento is where the water comes. But not a lot of people in Southern California go that way, and they don't see it, so they don't pass the word on it. And it's supposed to be coming to an end here, but then again, those are my opinions, so understand. I hope you understand.
Something you may not know, Exeter, that Matt has been thinking about, you might be cut off totally from Lake Mead soon.
Might be totally cut off from what?
Lake Mead?
It's a possibility. Okay,
because
Eric.
Nevada's having their own ones.
Yes, they are. And Eric is going, I heard there is a fake turf on lawns now. Yes, there is. They're trying to create all that stuff, and they're trying to advertise that stuff in a big way. And Kersey's going, oh, that's weird because in Puerto Rico the grass was like all dead and they couldn't water it. Yeah, Puerto Rico's got different laws, and since it's not technically a state, they can incur more penalties and more pain to the inhabitants. Yeah, exactly. Here, remember, you got the rich, and you have it's messed up. Okay, you got what do you call them? Housing people, the communities, the DH.
Housing authorities.
Yeah, the housing authority. They impose that you cannot have brown grass. You have to cut your grass. You still have to manicure your grass, and if you don't do it, we can levy fines against you. And they still enforce those. So you still have to water your grass and bear the fines. If you get brown grass, they can fine you and take your property away. Now, lawsuits are trying to go up against that, but unfortunately, some of them are winning, some of them are losing. Eric goes, do you know how much the fake turf costs? No, I don't. And that's it for today. Hold on, let me finish this up real quick. That's it for today. You now have the tools you need to begin your journey with the Pennsylvania Railroad. I wish you all the best.